Hey everyone, it's Wednesday, and we're looking through the 6 C's at Redemption, the wonders of the gospel. And we've talked about how three of them are about God's restoring wonders of the gospel. The other three are God's revealing wonders of the gospel. So next week, sneak preview, we're looking at the revealing wonders of the gospel. But this week, we're looking at the restoring wonders of the gospel. How God restores us back to himself, how he will ultimately restore broken relationships and even the broken world we find ourselves in. So on Monday, we took a look at caring for the broken. And today, we're looking at cleansing for the stained. One thing that is true about everyone in our world, like we said a couple of times, anyone you come into socially distanced contact with today, they have this unfortunate thing in common. They are stained by sin. They, in ways big or small, passive or aggressive, they have rebelled against God or they have rejected his love. Romans chapter 3, verse 23, the wages of that sin is death. Romans 6:20, that's actually Romans 6:23, Romans 3:23, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So we're all guilty before God, and we can't self-remove that stain, no matter what type of ritual we would do or what type of good work we would try and engage in. It just stains too deep, it's too big, we can't do it in ourselves. There's also the idea of not just being guilty before God, but the shame of that. This is who we are. But yet here comes Jesus. Jesus removes our guilt. He takes it upon himself. Read Romans chapter 5, verses 1 through 5, or 2 Peter 1:9. He absorbs the stain on himself. He takes that. There's no shame left with Jesus. We are now righteous in him. On Monday, we referenced 2 Corinthians 5, 17 through 21. I would call you to look at that again. In him, we are new creation. The old has gone, the new has come. The stain of sin is removed. And so many times, I can forget that. And because I forget that, I am reminded of shame or guilt that no longer has to be on me. So Jesus comes and removes the stain by his finished work. His life, perfect obedience in my place, his death, sufficient payment for the penalty of my sin. He removes the stain. So now there is no shame. I'm fundamentally a different person because of what Jesus has done. Fundamentally different. Now, to be fair, let's be fair for a minute. I don't think many of us woke up today and said, yes, I feel different, right? But that doesn't change the fact that we are. Because of Jesus, we are. And not only are we different now, but we are growing into more and more of who God wants us to be, more like Jesus Christ. This is really good news for us. The work of Jesus does this. So now as his church, what do? We can't cleanse anyone from the stain of sin. There's not enough Comet, if you remember that, for your bathroom cleanser. There's not enough of that to go around. There's not enough of that will do the job. However, he can. And our job is to point ourselves and others to what he can do. 2 Corinthians 6, 1 and 2 talks about now is the time for salvation. We call other people to have that stain removed by Jesus, to place their faith in him, to turn from thinking they don't need him, to turning to trusting him to remove that stain. And then also we remind one another. We speak the gospel to one another, reminding each other of what Jesus has done. Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 says, I want to remind you of what was first importance, the gospel, the thing that saves you, the thing that strengthens you, the thing that will see you all the way home. And we'll talk more about what that looks like, speaking of the gospel, next week when we look at the revealing wonders of the gospel. But have you ever had something you did or something that's happened that you've thought, yeah, God can forgive me for all of those things, but not this thing? This is where cleansing of the stained really comes into play. There are things in all of our lives that we would not want broadcast on any public type of medium, right? We wouldn't want it on the TV, we wouldn't want it on our phones, we wouldn't want it on social media, you wouldn't want it on the screen at church Sunday morning, you wouldn't want that. And you've asked and begged God to forgive you, and there are times where you just don't feel forgiven. Allow this fact to rest on you and settle those feelings and put them where they belong, which is away from you. In Jesus Christ, the stain of our sin is removed. We are clean because of him. We truly are new creations. We truly are right before him. This is why this is a wonder of the gospel. Because I know me and you know you, and our day-to-day lives can be erratic, right? We have the best of intentions of following through with our commitments, and then by the middle of the day, we're like, uh-oh. God's not saying uh-oh. He's going to remind us, you're mine and you're clean, and you can live out that way. What a wonder of the gospel, cleansing of the stained, and that we get to point people to that power, that love, that Jesus. What a privilege it is. Can't wait to see you on Friday as we close out the week, looking at connecting for the lonely. We'll see you then, church. Hope you have an amazing day.